Hello everyone, my name is Bremilius and welcome to Rimworld. I had been asked to make a small tutorial to really show what the game is really about and what I'm actually doing in a little bit of a slower pace instead of just showing the story beats. It is made by Tynan Sylvester and he made it as a sort of story generator, and that's really how I like to play it as well. There are a lot of people who like to make very difficult challenges for it or who really want to try and get the most out of every day. But to me, the more interesting aspect is when things are going wrong and how you respond to those elements. So, get something to drink, make yourself comfortable, and let's begin with a small tutorial. Welcome to Rimworld. This is the page that shows you how your world is going to be generated. We have a seed that we can either just let be for what it is, we can randomize it, or we can even, if we want, type in something ourselves. Let's start with a tutorial. We can say how much of the globe we want to cover. Let's say 100%. It can take a very long time, so it does warn you for that kind of things. Let's bring it a little bit back to 50%. You can adjust your rainfall, your temperature, or even the population, and even what kind of factions there are on this planet. If, for instance, you really hate the insects geneline, you can usually delete it, but since we're in a tutorial, it wants us to just generate it as is. So let's do that. Here you can see that the official content that I have is only the core content, just the main game. I do not have yet any of the expansion packs, and I do not use any mods currently. Later on I probably will, but for now this is a good as part as any to start out with. As you can see, we have a lot of area to cover here. It asks us to find a temperate forest, which is the light green squares around here. So if I click around this, you can see temperate forest. You can see the terrain type, what kind of stones there is, the elevation, what kind of temperature there is with the growing periods, the rainfall, and how much you can forage around it. And even how average the disease frequency is and what kind of time zone there is. Usually this can also impact how much daylight you can have. If you go very much to the north side or the south side, that will impact a lot how much sunlight you will have. But the game is asking us to find a very specific spot around here, which is called the Unra Hynant Grove. Let's go here, let's take this spot. It's a flat terrain, there's no real movement difficulty. There's sandstone and granite here with an elevation of almost 1800 meters. The average temperature is a nice 15.5 degrees Celsius. Year-round growing period with a lot of rainfall, but there are berries all around. Creatures can graze here if they want. And we have 1.2 diseases per year, apparently. So, now that we have selected our space that we want to land in, we can select our colonists we want to start out with. The game tells us that we can drag people from the left behind section into the selected section. And you always start out with, in this case we start out with 3. Usually you can choose a different scenario to start out with. This is the crash landed scenario. We have here Syl the assassin, who is a little bit of a psychopath. So this just means that there's she has no empathy, or he. Let's see, I think it's a she, yes, it's a female. Age 28. Syl has no empathy, the suffering of others doesn't bother her at all. She doesn't mind if others are butchered, left unburied, imprisoned or sold to slavery, unless it affects her. She also feels no mood boost from socializing. Even though she has this psychopath, she still is capable of feeling love somehow. They can have lovers, like you can see here on the right side. And if the lover would die, that would still impact her. Though probably a lot less than a normal person, let's just say. She's good at shooting, she's good at melee, and she has a passion for both. She's decent at animals, or at least she has a small passion for it, and a small passion for artistic. As you can see, the passion gives you just a better learning speed in that particular skill. So for shooting, for example, because she has a burning passion, there's a 150% learning speed for it. If we look at Timbo, he does not have a passion for shooting. It's just a 35% learning speed value. That's why you usually want a passion all around, like here below, team skills. a passion all around the board, so that everyone is good at something and is capable of doing their own jobs as well. So we have somebody who's very good at mining, a psychite addiction, Seymour Santos, incapable of dumb labor, so no hauling, no cleaning. So that might be a little bit difficult, because dumb labor is usually very important. Timbo is a wimp and a cannibal, but has medical passion, which is great, and animal passion. Also artistic, which is handy later on, and doesn't mind catering to the plants. So we can keep Sil if we want for a hunter. Timbo Dijksel for the plants, the animals, and the medical. And you seem good enough for the mining and for the intellectual. But really, someone to build us stuff is very important as well. So let's see what else we have. We have Onisan, the street urchin, good with animals, decent with shooting and melee. Policeman, also decent with shooting and melee, artistic, social. And here we have a contract miner, mining, no construction. A space trafficker, a small passion for construction. Or a rancher, good with shooting, good with animals. I think Helga is actually a really good one. So we'll take Helga, we'll take Trev, and we'll take Sil as someone for shooting and hunting as well. As you can see here in the team skills, skills aren't that well balanced at this point. So we might as well just randomize Sil to see if we can get something better. And I'm keeping an eye on the team skills right now to see if perhaps mining and cooking are getting a passion somewhere. Well, this one's good with plants and construction. Very good even. We'll make do with this. I'm sure we will find. Famous last words. So, let's start. It will generate our map that we will land in. And then we'll see how we'll get started. The three of you awake in your crypto-sleek sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. So, now we landed on the surface. The first thing I always do is pause the game. Take your time to read everything, take your time to get used to the location you're at right now. Here you are on the surface. Now try moving the camera around. So I can, with the middle mouse button, move my camera. I can also use WASD. I can zoom in by scroll wheeling, using page up, page down. No, I'm a little bit less fond of that. And you can pause time, which I already did. I do that with use the spacebar, but you can also do it with the 1, 2, and 3 for different speeds, or spacebar just for pausing it all together. Great. Now make a stockpile so your colonists know where to keep items. Click Architect on the bottom left. So we'll make a zone, stockpile. And if we right click, we'll just stop being in that typical mode. And we need to allow all this from the game so that it will put it into the stockpile zone. There's two ways to do this. You can usually try and select items, but if there are colonists in the way, it will try to select the colonist instead. You can also go into Architect, Orders, and Allow to really quickly allow a lot of things. There's also another way to do this. If we right click the Allow button, we can also say Unforbid all items. Now even though I'll unforbid all these items around here, there are usually items all around the map. Sometimes there are spare scrap steel parts, or perhaps even just decomposing corpses from before. But when you start out with a game, usually there's not too much crap lying around. But I'll just do this anyway, so we'll definitely know that I'm not missing any steel. Now it wants us to build a little room. Click Architect, Structure on this side, and then Wall. And we'll just fill it in completely. Please build wooden walls along the edges. Normally you can just drag it from here to there, but since it's a tutorial, we really need to be precise apparently. Now we need to build a door. The game wants us to build a singular door. With these kind of big structures, I usually prefer to make multiple doors. Which we may not do yet. But just so there's a multiple entry points, it does make the room dirtier if they come in and go out through multiple doors. But it also makes the access easier, and usually with big rooms where you have tables and such, then it's easier to have them all come in from different sides. They'll waste a lot of time going around it in a longer playthrough. We'll make some beds for all of them. I'll give them some space between them. And we need a little bit of light. It gives us a little circle to indicate how much light there will be. As soon as the walls are built, then that will be the end point for the light as well. Animal sleeping spot. With the crash landed, we usually start out with a random animal. In this case, a female cat called Cha-Cha. Alright. Let's make an animal sleeping spot. A horseshoe pin outside the room. This is for recreation. That's one of their needs that they have. They have a lot of needs, usually. Which usually come by in the form of their food, their sleep, and their recreation. That's the three most important. And they will impact their mood in total. We'll make a growing zone here. And let's make rice. You can, if you want, click the information for the different plants and it'll give you a lot of information about the growing time, how many hit points it has, the nutrition value for it. And in this case a potato is harvestable, but it has a limited lifespan. It has a certain fertility from the ground that it needs a certain amount of light, and it has to be between certain degrees of temperature for it to actually grow and not just die. If you go to the rice plant, for example, the growing time is shorter than the potato, 3 days instead of 5.8. The fertility requirement is a lot higher though. Temperature is about the same. The harvest yield, I believe, is a little bit smaller. And also has a limited lifespan, less nutrition, but what can you say? It will grow faster. So let's take the rice plant for now. And now we will equip our colonists. We had 2 hunters, I believe. Usually I can just go to the work tab, see it, or go to the bio. In this case it just wants us to equip something. So that's all of you equip weapons. Excellent! Now you'll make a stove to cook food. Build a fueled stove. So really the first thing that you really want to do is make sure your settlers are settling in, your colonists. And once this is built, we will add some bills, which is really the work orders of what can be made on that particular production table. In the meantime, I'll have a little look around. There is some stone here that we can mine. There's even a closed off area. Maybe if we put someone close enough to it, it will give us a small warning that there is an ancient danger here. Some old ruins, some more stone. But the thing I do not see yet is any sort of steel or plasteel. A lot of ancient steel walls, so we can disassemble this for some resources. There's a steam geyser which we could use for power generation in a longer game. There's some ship chunks that crash with us. We can deconstruct this for some parts as well. But it seems that a lot of steel and components we have to get later. So, they have built all of this. We will select the fueled stove and we will add some bills. There are many options for different kinds of foods, and if you hover over them you can already see if we want to cook a simple meal, we really need only 10 of any kind of food. so it will produce a simple meal. Skill required is cooking, work speed governed by cooking speed, work to make is 5. We can either go for a single one or 4 of them at the same time, or we can go for a better meal, which usually means that there is a half meat and a half of vegetables. But it's a better meal and it will give the colonists a better feeling as well. It will improve their mood if they eat better food. Sometimes there are people who will not eat meat, sometimes there are people who will not eat vegetables. So with that you also have the possibility for vegetarian meals and carnivore meals. For now, simple meals is all we can really do, and which is probably the smartest to do. So we'll cook simple meal 4 until we have, let's say, 20 meals. We can also, if we want, add multiple bills at the same time. In this case, the recipe cook fine meal requires the skills below. None of your colonists have these skills, so nobody will do this bill. Okay. But here we can also see a priority system. The ones up above will be done first. We will first have to cook the simple meals before it will start cooking the fine meals. But for now, we'll just trash this since nobody can make it anyway. Trev will immediately start cooking this. And he will add it to our stockpile. Cook simple meal. Increase the count to 10. For now I really need to do exactly as the tutorial tells me. There we go. We'll add it here. Oh. You can increase the number by just clicking it, or control clicking it by adding, so you'll add 10 instead, or shift clicking and you'll add 100 at the same time. Now colonists will cook some food, tasty. Next you'll want to mine some minerals. I've spawned some mineral steel near your base. There we go. Select the mine designator and drag over the steel to designate for mining. So we'll go to orders, mine, designate it all. We want to harvest some woods, designate some trees to be chopped. Select the chopped woods, designate 10 trees. You can drag the box over trees, select multiple at once. You can control which colonist does what kind of work. And this is possibly the most important part of this entire game. To make sure that the right people are doing the right jobs and that the people who do not wish to do certain jobs just don't have to do it as well. So we'll try changing some settings now. Beware, colonists always follow the work priorities even if this makes them do dumb things. Setting up a smart work regime is an important skill in Rimworld, even the tutorial tells us. So set the work settings carefully and review them often. So, you can also do manual priorities, in which case you'll number the priorities. If you do want everyone to do all kinds of work, like for instance hunting, Sela could do some hunting. But honestly, only do it if there's nothing else to do. We'll set that to priority 3. I always want everybody to firefight as soon as possible. Patient, if they're really hurt, be a fucking patient. And doctoring. We don't have a decent doctor, but we'll set these priority to 2. Just like bed rest. Now, as long as I don't set anything to 1, they will always first firefight, patient, then doctor, then bed rest. Sometimes, during times that everything is very dirty and our food is getting contaminated, I will usually manually put the cleaning on 1, so they'll do that before everything else. Let's see, construction, growing. Sela may do that, just like hunting for Helga and Trev. Handling, good for Helga and Sela. Plant cutting for Sela. Smith, tailor, craft. So usually I start out by going with the passion skills first, and then just make sure that everything that isn't passionful for people, that's been done last. But since we have no one with passion for mining, let's just put everyone on mining duty just in case. To advance, you'll need to research new technologies. Build a wooden simple research bench inside your room. I will keep everything going on single speed so that they will keep on going. You can rotate objects by using the E and the Q buttons. So let's make this probably across from the beds. And now we want to research something. Now just choose whatever you want to be researched first. You might have to wait for the research bench to be constructed or for the trees to be chopped for wood. If it's taking too long, use the work tab to assign more colonists to construct. So something that's good to start out with is either tree sowing. If you find that you're in a land where there's just less trees around to start out with. Or something that I always find handy is to go for batteries. That way you can just start out by making a wind turbine, making some batteries, make sure that you have power all throughout the night, even during less windy days, so that your air conditioning, your heating, that will always be available to you. Next, you'll learn to expand home area. Colonists will clean floors and extinguish fires in the home area only, and ignore fires or filth outside of it. The home area is added automatically when you build things, but you can also expand it manually. Select the Expand Home Area tool and drag out a new area on the map. So in this case, because we made a growing zone over here, a stockpile zone over here, and a building over here, it has added it all to it, and even here around our horseshoe pit. But let's just make it a big beautiful square we will build here eventually anyway. The build roof area defines where colonists will try to build roofs. It autofills when you enclose a new room. Select the Expand Build Roof area and drag out the shape of a porch roof on the front of the house. Let us see, build roof area. Just a single strip across there. Great! You've now got a basic colony running. Eventually enemies will raid your colony. It's time to prepare for that. Select the sandbags designator and drag the sandbags out at the designated area. Security, sandbags. In this case there's a little corner around here. That means if we right click it, there's a possibility to change the material it is made of. In this case it will be only cloth sandbags. But if we go to the barricades for instance, we first need to build the sandbags. The barricades are usually made out of wood, but during my first season as well I made them out of steel as well. Let's just wait for all your construction to be built. Consider using the work tab to assign one more colonist to construct. Also you can speed up time to shorten the wait. Once everything's built, I'll send an attacker to test your defenses. That is scary, isn't it? So, let's speed it up. They will sleep a little bit. And we have some sandstone chunks in our living room, which means it will decrease our beauty, it will decrease our cleanliness. It has a little bit of cover effectiveness, funnily enough. But something that isn't noted here, but is the case. When they try to walk over these kind of things, it's a bit of uneven terrain, so they'll be a little bit slower with it. So it's just a lot of waiting around. As you can see as well, Helga is very slow with chopping up all these steel blocks. That is because her mining is at a skill of 0. So she knows how to do it, she's just very bad at it. As you can see, she even automatically chops any trees that's in front of it. And our raid is going on from Mammy's cannons. I've now sent a raider to attack your colony. Pause the game by hitting space. It already did it. There is an options menu. And if you go into it with the gameplay, you can ask it to pause whenever you load a game. And whenever a letter, this is called a letter, has been received. Either by never, major threats, any threat, or any letter. So that you always can see what kind of things you are dealing with. Pause the game by hitting space, read the red letter in the bottom right of the screen. Let's see. A group of pirates from my Mammy's cannons have arrived today. They are attacking immediately. If you click on it, it will open a window. It will give you sometimes a little bit more information, like here. Mammy's cannons, goodwill, -100, hostile. Sometimes people are just dicks. They just do not like you at all. So let's jump to location so we can see where they are coming from. It's a singular Ray Wolfen. A female age 51 drifter of Mammy's cannons with a steel knife. She's good at shooting, she's good at melee, cooking, plants, animals. We can see her traits, what she's incapable of, and even what she was as a child and in her adulthood. You can even see what kind of gear she is wearing. She's got some smoke leaf joints, wolfskin pants, lizard skin t-shirt, and a steel knife. Well, since it's only one against us three, she's melee, we have range. I think we should be good. Draft your colonists by selecting them and hitting the draft command. So we'll just drag along them, click the draft button or the hotkey R, and we will put them in this corner. To get them in defensive positions. Unpause, colonists must be touching cover to benefit from it. Once you're in cover, wait for the attacker to approach. Your colonist will shoot automatically. Perhaps you may have seen in our season 1 that during some combats with longer range that people will hit each other accidentally, because if they miss, the bullet might go straight and it will just hit somebody of your own side. Well, as long as you have either them behind cover like this and standing next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, or just behind each other like this, they'll always shoot past each other. So as long as they're touching, it should be fine. Let's wait for... where is she? I actually lost her. If you scroll out enough, you can see these blue circles, which are just neutral blips, and a red one, which is our enemy, Ray Wolfen. We'll go single speed and see what will happen. Ray Wolfen actually is attacking our cat. And our cat is already dead. I cannot believe it. I did not think of that. So now, we have taken down Ray Wolfen. We can undraft our colonists. That way they will do whatever they want to do. And this is the end of the tutorial. There's still tons more to learn, including prisoners, hunting, trade, animal taming, and much more. But you've got the basics now. Random incidents were disabled during this tutorial. To begin a real game, open the menu tab, select options, click the gameplay, click the modify button beside storyteller, and select a storyteller and playstyle that appeals to you. So things that we could do right now is either finish off Ray Wolfen, we could make a prisoner bed, and capture her. We could bury Ray Wolfen once we decide that we do not want Ray Wolfen. Options, then we will go to gameplay, storyteller settings, modify. So these are the 3 storytellers that are in this game as a base. Perhaps the expansion packs will add more, but you can definitely add more with mods as well. The first one is Cassandra Classic. This is kind of the intended difficulty for the game. The AI storyteller creates events like pirate raids, resource drops, or animal attacks. Their choices will affect the story of your colony. You can change these settings at any time. Cassandra creates story events on a classic increasing curve of challenge and tension. She'll push you with dangerous events, then give a breathing room, then come back again to push. There's multiple difficulty levels, depending on what you really want. You can even make your own custom ones, if you really want to go hard with certain things. So you could, for instance, make the threat skill 500%, or even say, I want no threats at all. Let's put it back to 100. There we go. But you could also manipulate your economy, like for instance if you want more harvest yields, if you want a quicker game, if you think, well, there's not a lot of time for me to play every day, so I just want things to be quicker. That's definitely possible. And we'll just leave it as this. You can affect a lot of things that happen in your game as well. Your player tools. And even how the game will adapt to whatever you have. I said in the first season that it's a lot of progress is dependent on your wealth, but apparently this is usually ticked off then. Play in a wealth-independent progress mode. In normal mode, the storyteller scales threats according to colonist count, player wealth, and a variety of other factors. Wealth-independent mode removes the wealth factor and replaces it with a fixed progress curve based on time. I see. So the more wealth you accumulate, so what I did say was correct. The more wealth you accumulate, the more difficult things might come your way. And how many more colonists you have. But with this you would say it's all time based, not even dependent on your wealth. Very interesting. So that's it for Cassandra. Let's look at the next one. Phoebe chillax. Phoebe gives lots of time between disasters to build your colony, but beware, at high difficulty she'll hit as hard as anyone. So really the main difference between Phoebe and Cassandra is just that the time between events will be increased. Not necessarily the difficulty, not necessarily the generosity, but just the time in between. Which can be both good and bad. And Randy Random, he doesn't follow the rules. He'll generate random events and he doesn't care if they make a story of triumph or utter hopelessness. It's all drama to him. Warning, since Randy is truly random, he will sometimes send extremely difficult or unfair groups of events at you. It makes for high drama and unavoidable sacrifices. He may actually send some aliens as your first raid, which is way outscaling whatever you have. It does mitigate it usually sometimes, dependent on your difficulty. I once did a losing is fun playthrough, where one such alien raid was sent my way, and not a whole lot was left after that, other than my tears. For now, let's select Cassandra Classic. Let's select Community Builder. Build a community with Taste of Danger. Threats appear, but they're weakened. Recommended for players who are new to this kind of game, players who want to build a perfect colony, and players who want to relax. Close it out. Press OK. And now we are in the game proper. We can do whatever we want, however we want it. We'll dismiss Chacha's death, unfortunately. And this is where I'm going to end the video. I want to thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you got a little bit of a taste of what Rimworld really is about. And what is expected of us as a player. Or even from you as a viewer. If you have any advice or questions, please leave them in the comments below. If there's anything you would like to see, or perhaps even something that I have to dig deeper into, or something that you don't quite understand, leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer it, or perhaps even make a video just like I made this one. If you liked this video, please like it. If you did not like it, feel free to dislike it as well. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.